Today's show brought to you live from Lounge Media Group Studios. It's Pedro and the Freight Hound with the Logistics Lounge. The views and opinions expressed on this show by its guests are not necessarily those of Lounge Media Group or the show host. So if you sue someone, make sure it's the party responsible for hurting your feelings. Also, grow up, be an adult, and understand not everyone thinks like you. And that's okay.
Yo, yo, yo.
We are
We
so
are
back.
back. We are
So
so
back.
fucking back. We told y'all new things, new things, new things. Hope y'all enjoyed it. If not, too bad, because we're just gonna keep doing it anyway because we do what we want. Thank you everyone for joining us. We appreciate it. It's been too long. Hunter, Mr. Freight Hound. What's up, my brother?
What's up, dude? How's
Hey.
your beginning of the year been so far?
Uh,
How was your
I'm gonna
holidays?
I'm gonna go last. Can I go
Oh
last?
yeah,
Because
you can go
my,
last.
my beginning of the year is gonna flip everyone's mind. You go first.
Yeah, no, man, it's been good. Ready for it to start picking back up, knocking the rust off. Day 8 of dry January, so I'm suffering over here. But hey, good things for 2025, man. I'm pumped. I'm pumped. We're back in the lounge. Things are going good. Even more things to announce, man. Not just the intro video. There's still more to come. So I'm excited to be here. Excited to see what happens, man. Van, what's going on, brother? Bull snot guy.
Absolutely. Hey, the beginning of the year for me was amazing. I've got 2 trucks in the Olympics of monster trucks now. I got 2 trucks in Monster Jam, flying the Bull Snot flags proudly. So that's what I started. Started the year with a Monster Jam event with Montana and Triton Robbins. And Triton won the races or the monster truck race, and Montana won the wheelie and stoppie competition. So started out with 2 wins, and that was their debut at Monster Jam. So
Really?
it's pretty awesome.
Let's go. I think Monster Jam just came through Nashville. I wish I would have known that before this. I would have
Hey,
gone.
that's where I was at, Nashville. If if you if you got a hold of me, I had extra tickets.
Dadgummit. Hey, we'll get it next time. That's exciting though. Monster Jam. That's the end all be all right there. And coming out
That's-
winning.
That's what we did.
I think they're coming. I think they're coming here soon to Texas. I'm gonna look up their schedule in a minute. That's what I'm gonna do. Oh, that's awesome, man. It's so good to see you, man. It really is, dude. It is.
You too, Pedro.
Man. You brighten up the day, man. You really do, brother. Every time I see you, man, you can't help but just be happy and smile around you, man.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Holidays were good though. Family's good. All that stuff.
Everybody was just wonderful.
That's awesome.
Really good Christmas, New Year's, everything.
That's good, brother. That's awesome to hear. All right. So my holidays were great. Christmas, man, spectacular. We Kat and I just chill with our sons, and we had our oldest girlfriend over. New Year's, my wife had to work, I had to work, so I think we were shut down like 10:30, bro. I think I was asleep by 11. My new year started out very badly though. Didn't even make it 12 hours into the year before 2025 had to give me a swift kick in the cojones. So yeah, I have taken my son to work, man, on New Year's Day, 11 o'clock, man, sun beaming outside, brighter than you could ask, and a freaking deer runs right into the side of my car. This is the second time a deer has hit me, not me hit the deer. The fucking deer hits me. So yeah, deer ran into the side of my car, man, busted my mirror up, messed up my window, scratched paint stuff and everything. And but that's not the worst part, bro. And the worst part is that the deer got hurt. And man, when I dropped my son off, I came back, because I wanted to see what happened and pick my mirror up out of the road. But man, the poor deer got hurt and I had to call the PD and had to put the deer down. So that sucked, dude. Like I don't mind hunting, bro. I'll go hunting all single day long, man. Ain't worried about that. But I don't like seeing any of God's creatures suffer, especially not something that was I wouldn't say by my hand, but you get what I mean. And it sucks, man. It was a mama and she had just given birth. We know because it happened right by this RV park, and the guy was like, dude, he's like, all of those mamas just gave birth, just a few weeks ago. He's like, they've all been hanging out back there in those trees. And so I was like, oh man, like just make it worse for me. Why don't you, dude?
Hey, Nick Clean says he says that's a good omen. So I don't know where that's a good omen, but
no, Nick is right. Because when I talked to Nick and he said that, he was like, dude, just look at it this way. You get the worst shit done the first day of the year, then you're good the rest
that
of
is
it.
a great way to look at it.
Nick. All right,
Hey, Nick, if it was raining $100 bills, Pedro would get hit by a roll of quarters.
You ain't lying, man.
Oh god.
Oh shit, man. You are not lying at all, brother. Oh, that's funny, man. Ah, dude. All right. So man, I'm like a little off here, bro. Do you like feel off?
I mean, it's our
Like as
first
far as
show in like 3
the
weeks.
show,
So.
Yeah, the show flow, man. I feel so off, dude.
We got some news for today.
I do have news for today. That's why I say I feel off. I'm actually looking for it right now because exactly, dude. I'm used to doing, hey, let's chop it up, let's do a sponsor break, then we do the news, you know what I mean? But we got the sponsor stuff way in that freaking kick booty video that we put together. Yeah, man, absolutely that. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get some news, roll the show right along. And of course, my stuff messes up. Stupid freight waves. That's right. You heard me say it. Stupid freight waves. There we go. Get your crap together, freight waves. All right. You see it here on the screen. Ford has moved away from their largest automotive hauler. Auto hauler Jack Cooper has lost its contract to transport vehicles for Ford Motor Company after nearly 40 years of them working together, which is a major blow to the unionized carrier. Ford is believed to be Jack Cooper's second largest customer behind General Motors. In an internal memo sent to the Jack Cooper employees Tuesday morning that FreightWaves was able to obtain, Ford notified the carrier of the ending of their contract on January 2nd with a 30-day notice. The contract was not expiring at that date. However, according to sources close to the company, the contract did contain what they call an out clause that allowed Ford to take the action that it has taken. And then the words that no worker wants to hear was shortly followed by that email. And that was, you were hereby notified as an infected employee that the position of employment you have held with Jack Cooper shall be terminated in connection with the closure of this facility effective February 2nd. And they said that the loss of employment and the closure is expected to be permanent. The company's unionized, cancellation, although not noted by Ford for being due to any performance issues, let's just get that out of the way. No one said Jack Cooper did a bad job, came without warning or explanation. And lots of people are speculating that it is actually the status of Jack Cooper's drivers and the fact that they're part of a union being part of the reason that they wanted to get rid of them. Ford has said that is not the case. They said that to FreightWaves that, there was not the issue there, that their decision was made on another factor, which I will all pretty much understand after this. The company's unionized status was criticized in numerous statements by another company. Now, here's the crazy part. Proficient Auto Logistics, they are a publicly traded company, has regularly been referred to as a non-union hauler. They went public in May. In the last 3 months, their stock is down more than 37%. However, news of Jack Cooper contract cancellation, which was reported as of 1 p.m. Eastern, was greeted with a surge in Proficient Auto Logistics stock price. So everyone's, that's what thinking, got away, found someone that's going to do it cheaper. And, no one has said that's who it's going to be, but that's pretty much what everything is leaning to there. So there we go, man. Starting out the year. And in this sense, same flipping way we did last year.
Yeah, but they may be doing something totally different because the most efficient way to ship cars is train.
Yeah.
And then you do the final mile with trucks, but it's a lot more efficient, a lot cheaper, everything, do trains.
Yeah, you could be right, Van. I'm sure we could all agree Ford's probably, is obviously playing this one close to the chest, you know what I'm saying? So, could be that they're using more of the rail system to do it, and it honestly could be, coming down to dollars and cents, man. You know what I'm saying? Yep. I mean, a lot of motor companies are still having problems out there. My son works in the automotive is a sales manager at a dealership, and like trade-in values and resale values, all these things, they're going down, man. And a lot of these dealerships, they bought inventory at higher prices at the beginning of 2024. And a lot of that stuff is still sitting on those lots. You know what I mean? So it could just come down to, hey, we're just going to try to save money where we can, and as we all know, anyone that manufactures a product and has to get it sent out of a, good part of their budget is transportation and logistics. So, that makes up for a huge part, especially I'm sure for someone like Ford, who everything has to be shipped into their factory just to build these things, not much less have it sent out. So
I mean, it's just it is what it is, and
yeah, it is.
Ford
It is.
lost $6 billion on EVs as well, so that may be coming into play as well.
That's what you get for getting into EVs.
Amen.
That's what I say. That's what you
I drive a diesel, baby.
There you go.
Oh man, oh brother, this is so fun, man. I'm so glad, dude. This is good show, man. Good show. I'm so happy this is the way that we are beginning this freaking year. That said, Hunter, you got anything you want to add to that actually before we get to this young man here?
I'm just interested to see where Jeff Dickinson is in a couple weeks. He's a big Ford guy. Wrapping the Cadillac.
I know, bro. I know.
But he said he's been working on some big things.
Yeah, I was thinking about Jeff, man. When I was thinking about Jeff when I read that. I was like, oh, I wonder if Jeff, used to deal with him and used him, or remember Jeff. Big thing of what he did was help set up Ford's logistics operations and stuff. So I'm also thinking like, damn, maybe Jeff had a hand in those guys.
I'm saying, dude, what if you had like some fail-safe system written in, like all of his procedures, and they're pulling the string.
Yeah, dude, freaking A, brother.
All right, Grandma.
Man. Dude, you got all the family coming in here tonight, bro. Look at that, man. Grandma, mom, man, look at that, dude. Hunter getting all the love.
Family function, dude.
Family function. Oh, that's awesome, bro. All right, let's go ahead and get this young man on. Super excited to talk to him. Van has done nothing but fill our ears and our heads with stuff about Colton and Richie and American Scout for as long as we know them. So it is finally good to be able to get this young man on here and talk to him about some monster trucks. So everybody, Colton Kaiser with American Scout.
Crazy about a short dress man.
What's going on, guys?
Welcome,
What up,
brother.
Colton?
Welcome. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I am freezing over here in Indiana, but I think that's the entire Midwest right now. From Kansas to Ohio, we got hit. We got smacked right in the mouth by Mother Nature. And I've learned over the years, you just don't fight with women in general, but Mother Nature's the number one you just don't fight with. And getting through Kansas sucked. We just got back from Salina, Kansas, doing a show, first show of the year. This upcoming weekend, we are in Lebanon, Missouri for Monster Truck Insanity Tour. And Mom and I leave out tomorrow morning about 6 o'clock for that. And, our season just kind of keeps on going. So I'm super excited to get this year going. We've got some massive stuff planned, and we're going to get wild.
I don't know who that is, but they said stop your dang whining, Colton.
Oh, that's Lee. That's another one.
I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to hear a peep out of Lee. He lives in California where it's always sunny. It's a little too sunny right now. They got them fires going on. I hope everybody out in that side of the country is safe right now and everyone's able to get evacuated. But yeah, Lee, I hope you're warm, buddy. I hope you're warm.
If not Lee, just travel a couple 100 miles in whatever direction the fire's in, and you'll be plenty warm.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, I think on that note, I think that Mother Nature has a vendetta against California. It has been trying to burn
for a
that
while,
damn
man.
state
Tornadoes,
out.
landslides,
earthquakes.
earthquakes, fires.
Why
And
would
Lee,
you want to?
Lee should be good though, because
People
he's
still
nowhere.
move there. People still move there.
See, Mother Nature, she gets you down on your knees, and then the government comes in and kicks you in the nuts with the taxes. So,
That's true.
Man. That is very, very true, man. That's very true. All right, Colton. So first off, man, thanks for joining us, brother. I know it's fresh into the new year, and you guys have got stuff going on, as you just said. You literally just got back to the house, and I'm sure you're going to leave out here soon to go meet up with your pops over there in Lebanon. So just thanks, man. We appreciate the time that you chopping out for us and during your busy schedule. So we start everyone with the same first question, and that is, who is Colton, and how did you get to be a monster truck driver?
Well, firstly, thank you for having me on. This is really cool. And but to answer your question, who am I? At the end of the day, to not give you a boring answer, at the end of the day, I am a kid that, I live out in BFE, Indiana, that gets to go drive big dumb trucks for a living. I get to live the dream of every 3 to 18-year-old and really and older. This has been a lifelong dream of mine to drive monster trucks, and every day I'm blessed to be able to get to do what I love for a living. This is all that we do. My mom's retired, my dad's semi-retired, and then this is what we do. But as far as getting into being a monster truck driver, a lot of bad influence by really good people. That's the easiest way to explain it. But me and Lee Plato, who commented, me and his son Shane, we kind of started in the same way. We started in a half-scale monster truck, and the half-scale monster trucks that Shane and I drove, they were, I'll say, arguably, just so I don't piss anybody off too much, but pretty much inarguably the best half-scale monster truck chassis that money can buy. And I drove for a wonderful family out of Florida for my first 2 years. I did my first monster truck show in Clarksville, Tennessee at age 11. And I drove for a wonderful family out of Florida for a couple of years, and then we went out on our own. We branched away, went on our own, and that's where we started American Scout. I drove the half-scale monster truck for 6-7 years. I'm trying to do the math. 6 years. I drove that truck, and then at the end of 2021, we sold it to a family out of Kentucky who wanted to buy a farm toy for their kid, and then we bought the monster truck that I've been running for the last 3 seasons now, and it's been awesome. I bought a used truck that was a good county fair truck, and I've upgraded a bunch of stuff, and now I'm beating the absolute piss out of it every weekend.
That's awesome, man. Quick math in my head. What are you, man? 19-ish, 20?
21 going on 95.
Oh my fucking! Okay. We're getting him off right now. We don't want to hear that crap. Me and Van are the resident old people here. Okay, all right. As far as on this show, awesome, man. So that's good, dude. About a decade you've been doing this. Now you talk about the half scale monster truck, and I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about because I've seen y'all social media and stuff. But could you explain to people what you're talking about and maybe the different levels of monster trucks?
Yeah. So I get asked all the time, what's the best way to get into monster trucks? And every now and then I get asked that by somebody that doesn't so much want to do it for themselves, but wants to try and do it for their kid. And the best way to do it that I tell them is do it like I did. I actually started racing quarter midgets. I left that part out. I suck at racing. I sucked at racing quarter midgets. Was not a good time, but it taught me how to drive, and it taught me how to learn where you're at in a vehicle. So anyways, the half-scale monster truck I drove was as true to a half-scale as you can get. So if you took the body off of my mini monster truck and then you took the body off of the full-size monster truck and you put them right next to each other, everything is pretty close to being identical, just one scale down. Now, that being said, it's not a perfect half-scale. Instead of the tires we run on a full-size monster truck is a 66 4325R Terra tire, flotation tire, V-tread. They make turf tires, but that's what it is. That's kind of what makes a monster truck is the tires. Whereas on the half-scale monster truck, they were a 46-inch tall American Farmer. I think they were like a 20-inch. They were 46 inches tall, 20 inches wide, and like a 16-inch wheel or something like that. But a 20-inch wheel and 18 inches wide, whatever it was. I've been hit in the head a few times. But I mean, that truck that I had, I ran it just as hard as I do this full-size monster truck. And it had smaller shocks, smaller tires, smaller axles, smaller engine. And it was a wonderful thing to get started in because it was something I knew I wasn't going to get hurt in unless if it was my own fault. And the parts were much cheaper to fix. So if you're going to break something, learning, it might as well be a cheaper part.
Now, did you do like Shane did? Went out and rolled it to start with because somebody told him he wasn't a monster truck driver till he rolled one.
Yeah, that's a very valid truth. I remember that. Yeah, and I've got so that half scale monster truck I had. I only ever had 2 bodies on it. And I got the driver's side of one body and the passenger side of the other up sitting in there, sitting up in the loft. And we debuted a new body. It was right at the time when all the riots started up in Milwaukee and whatnot. And it's half of its thin red line and the other side is thin blue line. That body lasted 5 minutes before I rolled it and ripped the whole top of it off. And when you're at that point and you've got more bolts and fender washers than you do fiberglass in it, if you roll it, you roll it. Who cares? Patch it back together and keep going. I remember rolling the full-size monster truck 2 years ago, and Van, we talked to Van, and he asked if we needed any wax or anything. And I had, just in the driver's door, I had 64 quarter-inch bolts and a bunch of Lexan holding just the door together. And we told him, Van, I'll be honest with you, we're going to need more metal polish than we're going to need wax. It was bad.
I just like the fact that you roll the truck and Van's like, it'll buff out. You want me to send you some wax? That's my takeaway from this.
Oh yeah, you know you're dealing with a good wax when you can actually wax a mangled fiberglass body, and from 50 feet away, it doesn't look like you mangled it.
Oh man, I love that shit. That's Van's new slogan for his wax. It'll buff out.
It'll buff.
It'll buff out. That's so, man. All right, so hey, kind of keeping on the size of the trucks and stuff, man. Like, those the half sizes. Is that predominantly something like the younger crowd is into, or do adults race the half size stuff too, or what?
Yeah, absolutely. So it does mainly pertain to the kids. And what's awesome about it is a little kid can come up. They see these big monster trucks and, they get to sit in the wheel and everything. And they see these older guys that are driving. I say older, these older guys that are driving the full-size monster trucks. And then they come over to the mini monster truck. And it's more their size. And they see who's driving it and they realize, oh, this person is not much older than I am. And the family that I drove for out of Florida, Todd Weston, his kids started when they were 5 in mini monster trucks. And the biggest thing with the mini monster truck that was very difficult was if you wanted to get into it, there was really 2 ends of the spectrum to get into it. For the real younger kids, there's a company that's no longer in business that built these really tiny chassis that you could go out, get, half a foot of air in them to a foot of air and you'll be fine. But anything over that, you're going to start breaking stuff. The shock geometry is not right. You'll start hurting yourself. Those run in the $20,000 range. Shane and I ended before we got into the full-size monster trucks. Those chassis, I had mine probably 25 feet in the air multiple occasions and didn't hurt. That one, the way that ours were set up, you were going to be closer to the $60,000 to $70,000 range. So either way, it's expensive, but one end is much more expensive than the other. But in racing, and anybody that's a gearhead knows the saying, buy once, cry once. If you're going to do it right the first time if you're able to, and it's so much less headache. And most of the time it ends up being a lot cheaper.
What Colton's trying to say, it ain't cheap to be cool.
No, cool stuff. Cool
I
stuff.
I 1000% believe that, and that I was going to start getting into more of the cost stuff and everything. But so like what you're in, Colton, like what do you they consider that full scale, right? Because of the size, because of your tires or frame or what?
Yeah, so a monster truck, a monster truck's a monster truck. If you look at what Monster Jam has, you look at, the Robbins boys, those really well built trucks and Gravedigger and all that. They all run the same 66 43 25R BKT tire and Monster Jam. Goodyear, we run Goodyear's, Firestones, BKTs. A long time ago, there was companies out of China and Ukraine that their tires are really scarce because they're really sought after with how lightweight they are. There's so many different frames out there that you almost can't go buy the frame. There's some chassis that are, from if you measure the length of the main frame rail, some of them are 10 feet long, some of them are 17 feet long, and they all do the same thing. And so it is kind of usually by tire size, and that gets confusing because who's to say you don't? Who's excuse me? Who's to say you can't take a side by side like a Razor or a Can-Am, build enough spacers and throw some 66s on it? I mean, then yeah, you would have a monster side by side, but you're not going to be able to do what we do with it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And like with Monster Jam is such a cool thing to get to go run. I have lots of friends that do it. It's a very stressful environment because those guys go out and they really do run hard. Van, were you at that show? And
I was.
yeah, so I mean, you got to see the arena shows are nice because you really only need to drive as hard as you want to work on it. If you want to go run it into the ground, you're going to work on a lot. But if you want to go out, make your passes, show that you belong there, and really go race, you absolutely can and not have to work on much.
Yeah, and Gravedigger, he had to work on his a couple of times.
Oh yeah, that black and green braking machine.
Yeah, when he come out in the race, the first turn, he rolled it.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Because it was just too tacky, and they had it too wet on that end. And then when he did the backflip, he did fine on that. And then he went Superman over the mound in the middle, and he missed the ramp on the other side, and it landed on the one wheel, and then he went again. So he was tiring it up, but he put on a great show.
Absolutely.
That is crazy that truck is still around. I'm 40, and
there's multiple.
Yeah, I was about to say, aren't there like 6 of them that they run?
Well, yeah, I mean, I just meant like the name or whatever itself, not the original truck, but I mean like the Gravedigger. I mean, I'm just surprised that thing's still around. Like, I mean, dude, I remember that from when I was a kid.
Yeah, those names stay around forever. And Colton next year is going to be running a very famous name as well that's been around forever. So
Van, with those names, like, I mean, okay, so how does that work, Van or Colton? Like, does the name, like, is it stay with the truck, and the company and the family or the builder, or is it like, oh, I was Gravedigger last year, but let's pull straws out of a hat and see who's going to be Gravedigger next year, kind of thing?
Well, so the whole thing with Gravedigger is, so obviously Dennis Anderson started Gravedigger in the 80s. And then, his nickname, One Run Anderson, where, Gravedigger became not an overnight success per se, but a household name very quickly because he was known for, wrecking stuff. And then in 1997, don't quote me on the year, but I'm pretty sure that's the year. Before it was Monster Jam, I think, whatever Monster Jam was called at the time, bought Gravedigger from Dennis Anderson. So obviously Dennis has 4 kids, and he's got Ryan, Adam, Kristen, and Weston. Those 4 3 of the 4 are in Gravedigger trucks. Ryan is in his own truck called Son of a Digger, which was kind of what his mega truck, his mud truck, mega truck used to be called. But yeah, I mean, it's Gravedigger has been with the Anderson name since it was created, but Monster Jam actually owns the name, the licensing, the truck, everything.
Gotcha, bro.
And every tour has a Gravedigger because that is, I mean, realistically speaking here, what, you take your kid into Walmart and you go buy the monster truck toys. What's the first one they want to grab? Gravedigger. What's the first shirt they want to grab? Gravedigger. Gravedigger is a big merch seller. So, I mean, yeah, they're going to have one on every tour and they're going to go wad that truck up. So, little Timmy can beat his head against the wall until mommy buys him a Gravedigger toy.
That's interesting. I wonder how, like, let's just say if this was football, I wonder how Tom Brady would feel if there was like Tom Brady's. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
like,
so,
it's the brand.
Well,
That's
he got
cool,
paid.
though.
He wouldn't care.
I know. I get it. That's interesting, man. I mean, again, I told you, Colton, I'm not a monster truck fan guy, but is a red-blooded American male. I mean, who doesn't fucking love monster trucks, right? So, I'm old man. And to me, as far as I knew back then, it was just like anything else. There's one of one, you know what I mean? And you own that truck, you own that brand, you're the builder, just like race teams and stuff, you know what I mean? So that's kind of cool, man. That like it's all shifted, I mean, this started back what I mean, obviously everyone knows Bigfoot was kind of the big thing. I was what, mid 70s, late 70s?
Oh, Bigfoot. I think the year of when Bigfoot kind of famously did his first car crush on video was in 1983.
Yeah.
But 1985. No. Well, technically 1975 is when Bigfoot started. That's why this year, 2025, is Bigfoot's 50th anniversary. Because, as you know, Bigfoot, you probably know Bigfoot as the 1979 Ford. The big Bigfoot 1 was originally in 1975, either a 1973 or a 1975 truck. And then the way I understand it, and there could be a fan on here, a Bigfoot fan that can totally point me out on this if I'm wrong, but they did the movie Take This Job and Shove It back in the 80s. One of my favorite movies ever. And there's a scene where they plow through a shack and it completely destroyed the front clip of Bigfoot 1. And I think at that time it was a 73 or 75 front end. So they slapped the 79 on it, and now you have Bigfoot 1 as everybody now knows it.
That's cool, man. Yeah, that I'm looking at. You're right, man. It was 74 Ford F-250 modified by its owner Bob Chandler beginning in 75, and by 79, modifications so extensive that the truck was regarded as the first monster truck. My point to that was that then it was, hey, man, we're just going around and doing this stuff at county fairs and whatever. And whoever comes, you know what I mean? Wherever there's an open field and arena that we can crush some stuff, like that's what it is. Now that it has moved in to these major brandings and sponsorships, and like there's some ultimate serious money in it for you guys. Cause I mean, as Van said, and you said, man, like this is not cheap to get into. And let's all be honest. I mean, most of the people get into this, probably you including yourself, Colton. This is just a hobby. This is just something someone's interested into. Hey, this is cool, and you were talking, 60, 70 grand just for frames and stuff.
Yeah.
That's just absolutely nuts.
Yeah. If do you want to get into the cost of this?
I was just that is exactly where I was about to lead it, Colton. That's exactly what I was about to lead to.
So I'll tell you, we bought my truck turnkey. Like when we went to pick my monster truck up, the gentleman we bought it off of, Andy Hoffman, who's been in this industry for 40 years. He pulled the truck out of his trailer about 10 minutes before we got there. There was no time to take the body off or anything. I mean, we got the truck as it was. We paid $100,000 for the truck. Turnkey, ready to go do shows. Of course, we put our own body on it and all that. And then over time, I put new axle housings under it. I put new axle components in it. New body, better transmission. I mean, I've done a lot of work to this thing. I think at the end of the day, with all the upgrades together and everything, I think we've put about $150,000 in it, maybe a little bit more. Now, if you wanted, going back to Gravedigger, and I talked to one of my good friends, Dan Patrick with Samson Monster Truck, who builds. You can buy a turnkey monster truck from Dan Patrick. His chassis, his axle housings, all the billet parts and everything. I asked him what turnkey truck's going for nowadays. If you wanted part for part what Gravedigger runs, what Monster Jams trucks run, you're knocking the door at $300,000.
Honestly, doesn't. I know that seems like a shock, but to me, it honestly doesn't. I mean,
Yeah, and
I really that is not surprising to me. Before you said, I was literally thinking he's about to say $250,000. Like, damn, that
Yep.
seems honestly quite freaking reasonable to be honest with you.
$300,000 for a turnkey truck. Now, that's just the truck and the tires. That is not even your first wrench, not your first spare nutter bolt, not your first can of bull snot.
What about engine? Like, we talking engine in this thing too, Colton?
Yeah, that's everything. That is the same engine Monster Jam runs. That's the Richard Midget 540. That is the Holley EFI system. That is the Cohen Big Shaft Power Glide. Just in the axle assembly. So we run planetary axles. So from just one axle assembly, your axle housing, your differential, and your corner, from planetary cover to planetary cover, you're about $50,000.
Damn, that's pretty sweet. Hey, before we continue, who's John? Colton?
John Kaiser, that is that's my grandpa, John Kaiser.
Okay. So we were talking about Bigfoot, and you just glazed over the fact that you drove Bigfoot last weekend. Like, that just didn't come into your mind at all to say, I drove.
He didn't
this
drive
car.
it. He didn't drive it. He got to race it.
He got to race Bigfoot. Never mind.
Yeah.
I got to see. I was thinking, like, behind the wheel, you got to race it. Well, either way, that's still pretty cool, dude. That's still pretty neat.
So one really cool thing that Bigfoot does is Bigfoot is so busy with their own trucks that they only have two people that do this, and I don't think they could have picked two better people to do this. They actually have contracted two people that are friends of mine to put their bodies on my friend's chassis to, run as Bigfoot, to promote Bigfoot and represent them. And the one that I got to race this past weekend, that I'm also going to get to race this weekend in Lebanon, Missouri, is Josh Baumgartner, who normally runs the name Mechanical Mischief, but he's been running Bigfoot, and he has been, it is Richie. Never mind. It's my dad. But he's been doing an excellent job. He runs that truck really hard. Everything in that truck's brand new. And then the other person is one of my longtime, really good friends, Roger Gauger. He's been in this industry for 35, almost 40 years. He started as Quadzilla. He's debuted trucks. Two of his other trucks are Bootlegger and County Mountie, but he's been representing Bigfoot. And his truck, there is not a point in time that his truck does not look pristine. And he does an incredible job of representing Bigfoot.
Do they use?
Was Roger in Cumming this year?
Yep. Roger was there. He was the one that was running his Bigfoot. He's the one that slid around and just barely tapped my truck. So
I saw that.
He felt real awful about that one. He just a little bit of a sticker and some of the paint off the bedside rubbed off of my wheelie bar, and he felt awful. And I was cheering for him. I was excited. I saw my truck shift forward and my helmet fall out of the wheel, and I was pumped. I was so excited.
All right. Hey, so if we could, I don't want to say really continue on the cost, but I would really like to continue on a lot of the mechanical stuff here, man. I mean, to me, that's the thing I would like to geek out on. I think a lot of viewers would like to geek out on a lot of the technical engineering stuff. Man, let's talk about engines. You mentioned a specific type of engine, but like what are you guys, what are we talking displacement? Are we talking petrol, freaking jet fuel, how much horsepower, torque, can you get into some of that for us, Colton?
Absolutely. So engine wise, I mean, take your pick. How much money do you want to spend? Um, I have friends that still run the old, not I say old school, but they're all billet aluminum Hemis. Um, the industry standard is a big block Chevy with a blower that's mechanically injected on alcohol. That is the industry standard. There's some guys that run Ford engines. Like I said, there's some guys that run Hemis. One of my best friends, Alan Pizzo, and I'm going to plug Alan Pizzo here for anyone that wants to buy a half-scale monster truck like I ran. Alan Pizzo is the gentleman that built it. He's been in the industry for, I think, 40 years. He has the Predator monster truck that looks like a cat. And he's been in Monster Jam for years and years and years. But he's one of the few guys that still runs the Hemis. And I mean, his small Hemi is detuned to 1,700 horsepower. So now, personally, what I run, my engine is a 509 cubic inch big block Chevy. We had Ohio Crankshaft out of Greenville, Ohio, build it, and those guys have been nothing short of amazing on the work they've done. I have no idea what kind of power my engine makes. I don't care to know how much power it makes. I just know it gets the job done, and I break more than enough stuff with it. And yeah, they're mine probably, if I had to guess, mine's probably about 1,000 to 1,200 horse.
Jesus God. What about torque? Do you know what you're pushing torque wise in that thing, Colton?
No idea. I would like to know my torque numbers at the wheel, because in a monster truck you have 4 gear reductions. You got your transmission, you got your drop box, your differential, and then your planetaries on the outside. And the planetary system I run, which is a Pettibone, there's 4 planetary gears in it, but the gear ratio comes out to, I think, 3.5 to 1 at the wheel.
God, man, dude, I bet I would like to see those numbers too. That would be freaking nuts. That'd be cool.
I'll go grab a plant. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go grab a planetary gear, and then I'm also gonna go grab a planetary cover. You'll get a kick out of this.
Okay, I was about to say we're gonna have you walk us back towards the parts bin that you showed us behind the
I'll just walk you all towards the parts bin. That's fine.
Well, welcome to the broken parts bin, which is bigger.
Dude, he was showing us this axle.
Get into that, so we'll just ignore this. That thing's been here for a while.
That is so cool right there, bro. That looks like an old school Ford, man.
1978 Ford F-250.
Oh yeah.
Pause.
That's
so
what I'm
for
talking
anybody watching this that has ever worked on an old school like GM Dana 60 1 ton, let's see here. Can I pull this planetary? Oh well, sucker. Well, I can't. Okay, so here's what I will show. So this right here is one of my spindles, and it's got a planetary plate on it, but normally it doesn't look like that. And then this is just my outer axle shaft I've shown, and the bell is about half the size of my head. Anyways, it's about a 6-inch bell. The shaft diameter is about 2 1/4 in diameter. Here's my planetary gears. Right there. It's about the size of my hand. There's 4 of those that go in there, plus a sun gear that rides on the outer axle. I've got I've got some parts here. I've got the best bull snot shelf collection. So, but yeah, I can never have enough spare parts. I try to buy parts as I can, but can never have enough spare parts.
How big's your shop there, Colton?
How big's the shop? This is a 40 by 60 pole barn, but we only work out half of it because the big orange turd's on the other side.
Is do y'all do everything on y'all's land, or do you have how does the mechanical stuff go? Is that just you and your pops?
It's me, my mom, my dad, and I can take a lug nut and break a window in my house. So
That's good stuff. So how much are you all running a year? I remember when we met at Large Cars Guitars, you guys said you're doing like 60 shows a month sometimes or something like that.
About 60 shows a year. Yeah. The best way
60
to
shows a year.
describe we pretty much we work harder and we move around harder than an ugly stripper. So we are everywhere but home.
So how do y'all do with like parts and tires and stuff when y'all on the road? Like, you know, you pop a tire, like what do you do
like
for that?
with the monster truck,
Yeah.
So I always keep a spare tire. So we always carry. My trailer is outfitted to be able to hold 8 monster truck tires. For it, we run my operation out of a 48-foot double drop moving trailer. We put 4 tires up in the neck of the trailer, and then our spare tire goes on the floor underneath our tire lift. But if we really wanted to, we could put 4 tires up in the neck, 2 on top of the tire lift, and 2 under the tire lift. But that's normally for a 2-truck operation, and I'm not that crazy yet to go 2 trucks, but we might here soon. I've got some stuff I'm planning, and hopefully it comes to fruition. I'm thinking about taking a shot at building my own in-house chassis.
Oh, nice, dude. Nice.
You gonna buy the kit and then weld it yourself?
No, I don't know how much that kit costs. I think that's about a I think it's like a $23,000 kit. Which I mean, I could buy a decent chassis for about that same price, a little bit more already put together. But I think I'm gonna do this one completely on me. I'll have help during it, but it's gonna be my own deal.
Good challenge.
Oh yeah, it's triangles and squares. It's all about where you put them.
Yep.
How thick are y'all running on those frame rails, Colton?
Do what?
I said how thick and like, you know, or I guess to say how thick durable are those frame rails that you guys run?
There's enough tubing. There's enough tubing in there where if you bend frame rail, the only person I know to actually bend frame rails is Tom Mentz with Maximum Destruction. And he runs the same frame rails that I currently run, which is a 3-inch DOM tube with a 1/2-inch wall thickness. One of my best friends, Alan Pisa, that I mentioned earlier, he's about finished with one of his new builds. He's really shooting for a super lightweight truck. If he gets the weight that he's wanting to, it'll be about half the weight of some of the newer trucks coming out with the tires on, which is massive. It is super lightweight. His entire chassis is 120 wall, which is an 1/8-inch wall. Now I build this chassis. There's going to be a lot of 3/16 wall, which is 0.188. There's going to be a lot of 188 wall tubing, some quarter, and then the main frame rails will probably be 1/2 inch. So my idea is I'd rather build it a little heavy so that way I can do it once and never worry about it.
And the maximum weight is in the class you're running. Do they have the maximum weight or not?
No, it's all. See, that's the nice thing with monster trucks is there is no class. There's not a true class.
On the circuits you're running.
Yeah, on
Monster Jam, they have a weight limit.
So like the Robbins boys, their trucks are probably in the 12,000 pound range. Maybe 12,500 pounds. My truck is about the 10,000 pound range. But if you look at a truck like Avenger, that beautiful 57 Bel Air truck, that's about a 15,000 pound truck. That truck is super heavy, but he doesn't break a lot of stuff. So, and when they do break, they do it in spectacular fashion.
Dude, that's nuts. I didn't think they would weigh that much because I knew they were built for, you know, for lightness. You know, like I know that's the whole point of them is to be as lightweight, but yet, you know, durable and structurally sound as you can, so it could take, you know, good beating and everything. So, but golly, like that's heavy as crap. Hey, let's talk about the bodies. Like obviously they're fiberglass. And you bought yours, you said turnkey, you know, the one you got ready to go, but you know, what goes into the thought behind the body that you buy? Like, I mean, is it just, you go somewhere and they give you and you get what they got ready, or, do people really put a lot of thought and effort into this? And second question, although like Gravedigger is like, it's I can't remember the damn truck, kind of like an old school bourbon. Does it have to be a truck type body to be considered a monster truck?
Oh, absolutely not. So, okay. So here, I'll answer your first question. There's a handful of different places you can get bodies from. Brothers Bodies, Star Creation down in Florida. Star Creation does all of Monster Jam's bodies, all those 3D bodies and all those different, custom bodies. They're doing a body for Cletus McFarlane right now. I get my bodies from Trey Myers out of Maryland. He's an awesome guy to work with. But there's a lot more creativity coming into monster trucks now. There's a lot of 3D bodies. There's a lot of custom bodies. I know Van and I spoke about doing a special deal for Bull Snot. If we can make that happen, that will be one of the craziest independent monster trucks on the circuit. And to answer your second question, it doesn't have to be a truck at all. Matter of fact, this weekend I'll be running with a gentleman I've never met before, but I've watched him, and this kid can frickin' drive. I call him a kid. He's older than me. I have no idea how old he is. But Jacob Ladwig, his monster truck is a totally unique truck. It is a 1963 split window Stingray Vet body.
Oh, that's fucking cool right there, man. Yeah.
You watch what these guys are doing with trucks now. They'll put them up on the nose and they can just walk them. This guy is so talented. He can do it on the back end. He'll pop it up in a wheelie and walk it. He'll find the balance point, just walk the wheelie like this, because there's so much front end weight that's trying to all that front end weight is trying to use its momentum to bring him up. And it's much harder to control the truck when you can't see it. So that kid, he is very talented for the truck that he's in. Another gentleman who did the true first backflip in a monster truck, Larry Quick. His was a older Mustang body. Shelly and Ron, a couple out of Michigan, they've got an El Camino called Shell Camino. It's a pretty cool truck. You got your 3D bodies. There's a team out of Michigan called Send It Motorsports. Van, they were there in Nashville.
They were
very talented drivers. They just came out with a truck called Frostbite that looks like a polar bear.
That's cool.
We had megalodon, so we had a shark there.
Yeah, yep, you had a shark there.
I think mine would probably be like, I would do something completely stupid like a Ford Festiva or a fucking Yugo. Like, I'm serious. I would think of the most off the wall thing that I could.
Pedro, I got it. You would have a gremlin.
Yeah,
I would do it. Yes. So I am so with it, man. 100%, bro. 100%. I will do a gremlin. Yes. I love that, man. Oh, that would be no. I would have to do like a potato. That's what. A potato. Yeah, that would be so fun, man.
Would it be a baked potato where it's split open in the middle and it's got all the toppings pouring out of it?
Yeah, and I would sit right in the middle, bro. And like, yes.
You need to have a sour cream cannon. That won't look weird at all.
Nope.
Hey, tell everybody how difficult it is to do a backflip.
It's I can't speak for myself because I've never done one, but
your truck ain't set for doing.
They're so unpredictable. The backflips have become so mainstream that if you watch Monster Jam, especially on the stadium shows, they've gotten their backflip ramp where it is the stadium backflips have become super predictable. Now every other backflip ramp kind of flip a coin. The 8-pack, they call it an 8-pack. It's 8 semi tires, full of either dirt, foam, or whatever they're filled with, and they're solid. The dirt can cave and it can twist you in the air. The old backflip ramps would actually cave in. They've done trench boxes, dumpsters. I've seen backflips done off of everything, and they're very unpredictable. And I think the most damage I've ever seen from one backflip was in the realm of $50,000 or more.
And the injuries. A lot of people get
Oh,
hurt.
and the injuries. That's what put Dennis Anderson out. Dennis Anderson, he did a backflip, landed on the roll cage. The roll cage collapsed on him, and we don't know if he had a broken rib before he did the backflip, but needless to say, he had a pinhole in his aortic valve. And he almost died, but he didn't, and that's good. And I'm very thankful for that. We almost lost Tom Mentz this year in Indianapolis, or this year in 2024. We almost lost Tom Mentz. That was very scary to watch. He landed so hard on the cage in Lucas Oil Stadium, the roll cage plowed through 2 layers of 3/4 inch plywood straight to the concrete.
So, hey, on this subject, let's talk about safety, brother.
Mhm.
Let's get in that, man. You know, what does that look like for you guys, Colton? You know, like, what are we talking about? You know, I mean, besides harnesses and maybe a seat, you know, like, how in depth and important is safety in what you guys do?
So my friend Dalton Van Skyhook, who drives the Stomper Monster truck, he put it the best way. So you see what NASCAR drivers wear? You know, NASCAR wears all that stuff in case they crash. We wear all that stuff because every single time we jump and land a monster truck, our body experiences a car crash. And we have to have that. We run the head and neck restraints to really the only thing our helmet's doing is keeping our head connected to the head and neck restraints so we're not bouncing around. We've got we got 5-point harnesses. Some guys run a 7-point harness. I run a 5-point harness. I don't use my crotch strap half the time. So it doesn't matter anyways, but yeah, I mean, we are super tight in there, and I wish I had something in here to show you, but if you look at my seat belt, the mechanism looks like a ratchet strap, but what's connected to it is a 1/4 inch drive ratchet. So I literally am ratchet strapping myself into the seat with a 1/4 inch drive ratchet.
And the seats are molded at too.
Yeah, the seats are completely custom fitted.
Really?
Yep.
What are your seats made out of? Like carbon fiber or
Aluminum.
what?
They're
Oh,
made out
really?
of
No.
aluminum. Yeah.
You have the
Van,
option to
maybe
stand up in there as well, don't you?
Do
You don't have
what?
to just sit down. You can stand up like when you're driving as well, right?
No, the current cages are they're so tight and so compact you can't you got to sit down in them. The only way you can stand up in one is if you're standing up out of the window. Now there was a gentleman named Frank Scattini. Has anybody here watched the movie There Goes a Monster Truck from way back in the day?
no, but if I am now, if you tell me I need to.
Okay, so There Goes a Monster Truck was the movie where my friend Frank Scattini, he is probably one of the few people on this planet that has had probably 10% of the world population come up and try to get him to buy them a new DVD player because their kid burnt the DVD player out on this damn movie. I'm one of those kids. Frank Scattini came from the FMX world. He actually built a monster truck where he could stand up inside of it and drive it like a dirt bike.
That's crazy.
Van, maybe you can.
And one other safety feature that Colton failed to tell you, his dad has a kill switch for that truck. If that truck has any problems whatsoever, turns over, you name it, Richie can kill it. And every monster truck's like that. You got
like a remote kill switch.
Yeah, so what it's called
That's
is
pretty sick.
which is a remote ignition interrupter. It's you got a handheld unit that looks like a walkie-talkie, and you got the box inside the truck. You've got right lane, left lane, and center lane, and from up to some of them are getting to where they're a half mile away. At the push of a button, you can kill the ignition to a monster truck.
Was it you or your daddy was messing with another driver one time and did that to him?
Well, we probably messed with people, but there was one guy. He was trying to tune his monster truck, and I guess the guy pissed somebody off at the show or whatever. But this was a long time ago, and he'd fire the truck up, get around, loosen the distributor, go to tune it and everything. And there was a guy that was laying down on some on some straw, and he had an RII in his coat pocket, and he'd hit the button. And the gentleman who was tuning his truck, he was the only guy on his own team. So he'd climb in the truck, fire it up, and just as he'd climb up on the chassis, which is really awkward, just barely start getting to time it, and then he'd get shut off.
So, hey, but can you explain to everyone? I mean, like, what's so important about making sure that engine gets shut off? Is it because the fuel mixture you got going on in there, or
That way we
what?
don't kill people. An RII, so the only time an RII isn't practical is when killing the ignition doesn't do anything. And the only place that is I think they have them in Top Fuel cars, and they have the same idea, I believe, in the Top Fuel dragsters, but it's not for ignition, it's for fuel. It shuts fuel off. Because they run magnetos, and with magnetos they generate power and all that. But I'm a firm believer that every single form of racing should have an RII.
I like that. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. I watch so many videos from events like, and I'm not saying this to talk crap on the actual owners of these events, but it is something that I think they really need to start getting on is, Trucks Gone Wild and Rednecks with Paychecks events. I see it way too often. People go out in these trucks, and this goes beyond the RII. There's people that go out and sit in 500 plus cubic inch blown alcohol injected motors, and with windshields without windshield wipers and everything, and they're going through the mud, they can't see, and their trucks are so loose where the second they hit the throttle, it just squats and you're looking at the stars. And they're not wearing, they have their stock interior, stock seats, no helmet, nothing, no RII. And all it takes is one time for that driver to get knocked out, and that truck stay and drive, and it's going to go until it finds something that's going to stop it.
That's eight. And I don't know if you said it. Do you use a Hans device in your truck, Colton? Do you know what a Hans device is?
So in monster trucks, we obviously, a lot of people run the Hans device, and what we've adopted recently is the hybrid, which Simpson Race Products makes the Hans and the hybrid, which are both owned by Simpson, which is owned by Holley Performance. Anyways, the hybrid, I've switched to the hybrid. I bought one, tried it, loved it. I have my Hans devices. Someone else needs it. But yeah, we absolutely we do run them. If you don't, you're going to have a broke neck in no time.
For those that don't know what it is, could you explain to everyone what a Hans device is? Colton, I actually just recently learned about this. I just watched a documentary on F1 racing, and I just learned what a Hans device was maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, the Hans device came out because Dale Earnhardt died in Daytona.
Yep,
that's where it came from. When he crashed and hit the wall, that's what was developed.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's absolutely right. If Dale Earnhardt Sr. would have had a Hans device, or if they would have duct taped his helmet to the seat, not saying that's what you need to do, but if he would have had any form of a head and neck restraint, he would have survived. And it's it's always tragic when someone has to die for changes to be made.
Ironically, Van, we were talking to Tony. I don't know, when did we have? I don't know. Last year,
sometime in November.
Man, and we were talking about, he used to do the NASCAR circuit and stuff, way back when, and we were talking about how he wrote the song for Dale Earnhardt, was supposed to have the meeting with him literally the day after his crash, and I was telling him, like, dude, like, I'm not a NASCAR fan, never have been, but I was dating a girl at that time that her dad was, and I remember watching that race live, and I remember as someone watching, I was like, oh man, like, he's going to be just fine. Like, like, you look at the damage to the car, it was like, there's been way worse wrecks than that. And, a couple hours later, it's like, dude died because the impact snapped his neck and stuff, man. It's like, wow, like, that's just absolutely crazy. So cool, man. I'm glad to hear that you do that, man. And safety is extremely important. And that's nuts that you say that every time you guys land, that it's like experience a car wreck. Like I, as a spectator, am looking at this thinking, oh man, like the suspension, the shocks on this thing, like, man, this guy is probably sitting on a cloud of air inside of that cab. So that's actually kind of shocking that you said you guys experience, that much G forces and stuff when you're behind the wheel of those things coming down.
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to find somebody that is, which it's not hard to be smarter than me, but I would like to find somebody so much smarter that they could calculate the amount of G-force that we experience in these monster trucks. Now, I'll tell you another major safety component. We were talking about seats, how they're custom built. Our seats are not suspension seats. The best thing we ever did was take suspension seats and chuck them as far away as possible. Our seats are solid, bolted to the chassis.
Shocks do all the work.
Yep. And the reason for that was with a suspension seat. So to give you guys a reference point of how tight I get in my truck, I take myself so tight on my lap belt where it feels like my pelvis is compressing, is twisting. And then by then I've already, before I actually tighten myself all the way on my lap belt, I take my shoulders really tight. So that way, when I do my lap belt for the final time, it pulls down on me even more. It feels, at the end of the day, it feels like my pelvis and my ribs are compressing. That's how tight I get. So if you do that in a suspension seat, the first land you take before the first thing that's going to happen is your shocks are going to bottom out if your suspension's not set up right. Your suspension is going to bottom out, and you're going to be metal to metal with the chassis. That hurts enough. And then you think, oh, well, the suspension seat will take up that little bit of impact. The issue is when that suspension seat collapses and hits, now you're loose. You're not nearly as tight as you were. So now you're getting double impacts, and it's really hurt some people.
That's how long are you guys in those seats, Colt? Like what's the average run time for you, man?
Average run time is about 12 minutes a show. 12 to 15, about 10 to 12 minutes a show. 10 to 12 at the absolute most. And usually we try and get in and out of them as much as possible because it gets really hot in there. I mean, there's been days I wish I was just butt ass naked in the truck with how hot it was.
Van, he needs a fan. That's what he's saying. He needs a damn fan, Van.
He has to wear that fire suit regardless. And you just got a new helmet. You're not wearing a kid's helmet.
I did just get a new helmet, and it's awesome. I've already scratched it a bunch of times. It's great.
I was about to ask about your fire suit, man. Like, do you guys not have the water cooled, like NASCAR F1s, like they have the, the water cooled systems that flow into their suits?
We can, and there's some guys that do, and they're all right. I mean, they do work. The best thing, I've been wanting to do this, and what I've been wanting to do is cut a hole. So a friend of mine, not to get too sidetracked, but a friend of mine, Mac Plucker, he had a custom fire chute that was so thick. He had Velcro lift patches above the knees, so that way he could let hot air out. It was that thick. I want to do something like that, but it goes into my thigh, my inner thigh, and I can run a hose into it so I can cool my balls off in the truck.
Yeah, and then you can smell your sweaty nuts for 10 or 12 minutes.
Well,
that would be awesome, bro.
Yeah. Where the air can only circulate in my below the waist, so it doesn't come up. It's like an airlock, so it's fine.
And everyone else who gets in the truck after that's like, what is that damn smell?
That's their problem. That sounds like a personal problem. Actually, no, there is a solution to that problem. Blastable odor eliminator. See?
Yep. We get rid of the smell.
And now, thanks to Colt, Van is now going to have to put a disclaimer on his bottle, not for sweaty balls,
not for nuts.
Well, no, I'm not going to do that. It won't hurt.
And if it gets real bad, and I've told personal friends this, if the smell's so bad that for some reason the blastable just, for some reason it gets it pretty close to being gone, but not all the way. If it gets real bad, use the penetrating oil because it smells like berry.
I will tell you. Listen, hey, all right, we got to get sidetracked to this. I do want to say this. So, I have Van, I can't remember the name of it. I know he just said it. You're freaking not
pen-
degrease, huh?
The penetrating lube, that's free.
The one that smells like cherry or strawberry.
strawberry. Free.
Oh my gosh, dude! Let me tell you, for one, I'm a crazy person. I actually like the way WD-40 smells. I don't know why. Like, give that shit to me in a cologne. I mean, I'll spray it everywhere. But man, I use that stuff, man, and my whole garage just smells like it. And I want to say, I don't know if anyone's told you this. I know you do market research, but I'm a huge WD-40 fan because if you don't know, WD-40 just ain't for fucking loosening the bolts. Like that stuff has got a million different purposes. And so far, I have not found one thing that I can use WD-40 on that I can't use your stuff on. And so I just want to let you know when I mean that, like if anyone doesn't know, WD-40 can be used for cleaning things as well. Like it has got umpteenth a million purposes, and I've not yet found one that yours does not match with. And at least yours has that lovely, lovely smell to it, man. I actually just used it a few weeks ago on my car, man, to get a bolt off, man, and it worked like that.
I'll tell you something personal to me that WD-40 can't do. That penetrable does,
Freeable.
or that freeable does. So, on my truck, if we're about to do a mud show, I'll hose the axle housing and the 4-link bars and the knuckles and everything down with it, so that way it just comes off. Well, it'll get a little bit on the brake rotor.
Smart, bro.
And when that brake rotor gets real hot, it smells like roasted cherries. WD-40 can't do that.
That is. You can't. He said we give you a show that touches all your senses.
Yeah, exactly. I already run. I can't. I don't have any right now, but we run fuel scent in the monster truck because straight methanol, it'll make you gag and cry. It sucks. I run a scent called Fruit Loops, which is great for a fat guy like me. I love it.
Yeah, and there's a million scents. Most people don't know that, but in order for the crowd to enjoy the show, because it's all about the show.
Yeah.
Monster trucks, whether you win or lose, you still win. Everybody wins it because it's a show for the kids. So they've got every fragrance you can think of for ethanol, so that the crowd, if they smell the fuel, they like it.
Yep. And there's a company we use called Wild Willie's. They've got like 80 different fuel scents. That's what they're known for. They've got your good fruity scents. Your grape is a common one. Matter of fact, I got a brown cabinet right here. If you open it up, it smells like cough syrup. They got grape, cherry, vanilla. You can mix and match. They've got dirt, Fruit Loops. They got one called Ex-Girlfriend that smells like perfume. They've got a weed smell. They got one that smells like weed.
That's for California.
What's that?
That's for California.
Yes, it is. That's for California, Michigan, and Illinois. But matter of fact, I was talking to a gentleman that put it in his race car one time, just being funny. Well, the idiot did it in an enclosed trailer. And they opened that trailer up, and it smelled like they had a grow house in the trailer. And their first thing they said was, "Well, we got to drain the fuel out. If we get stopped by DOT, we're screwed."
Oh, dude, that would be worth the stop just to see them go through everything. And then what you do is you set that bottle of the smell at like the end of the trailer, so when they're done with it, like that's the last thing they see. No, that would totally be worth wasting their time, Colton, 1,000%.
It would be awesome. Well, see, then if you got my luck, you get that one asshole cop that would string your stuff all over the trailer. And then when he realizes that's what the fuel scent is, he goes, "All right, have a good one. Good luck. Have fun putting all your shit back."
Yeah, that's right, man. Hey, so before we get on to the logistical part of this, which is what I want to close out on here in a minute. I want to talk about more of the shows, the different type of things that you do. We have talked about, like arena stuff. We saw the intro video where you were in an open field doing things, but you had talked about the mud things, and that was actually something I wanted to ask. Is like, is your truck universal in that sense that you go from one to the other? And even if so, like, what's the differences in doing a dry dirt versus like the mud or the wet stuff for you, Colton?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, my phone's about to die, and I got one of these fancy schmancy little little DeWalt chargers that ain't working. So I'm gonna stand up and do this. But so I'll tell you, the driver mindset completely changes when you go from dirt to mud. When you go from dirt to mud, you're going, this sucks. I want to go home. This is an awful experience. I would take a pay cut to leave. Monster trucks are capable of mud, but that's not what they're made for. And the reason is because the tires we run. The tires we run are called flotation tires for a reason. They float. A monster truck on mud is like trying to watch an elephant ice skate. And the elephant can't get going. And once it does get going, it ain't stopping. And then when it does stop, it ain't going to be pretty.
Do they make, like special tires for that? Like that you guys can like switch out and stuff for?
Not really. You can take a hot knife and you can cut your tires. You can cut some gnarly grooves in your tires that'll help scoop the mud. So that way you can get a little bit better traction, but there's not much you can do. The trucks weigh so much and we're just spinning tires in the mud. It's just not an enjoyable experience.
Yeah. I bet it's a hell of a damn mess to obviously clean up afterwards.
It's
like y'all's things are completely open at the bottom, aren't they, Colton? Like, do you have any plates or anything, or
not really? We've got some Lexan, but for the most part, it's pretty open and it sucks. We did a show in Mason, Michigan in 24, and it rained and rained and rained and rained all throughout the show and everything, and it was like a sandy mud. It was a really thin sandy mud that was miserable.
Tell them how you get in the truck.
So where the driver's door would normally be, there's an opening in the chassis, and you climb up into it, and you use the 4-link bars and the tubing on the chassis as kind of a drunk ladder. So
and then the drivers sit in the middle. That's what a lot of other people don't understand.
Yep, there's some left-hand drive trucks left, but I'm gonna give you guys a good view of my drill press here. I will be right back.
Lovely. We like the drill press. We like drill
and
press.
And a lot of people don't realize the engine is behind you as well.
That I did know. But Van, do you know like why? So why were they left-handed drive, and now why is center drive the standard? Do you know?
Well, yeah. Left-hand drive's the way they originally started out, and then they figured out that if you be dead center, you can see everything. It's a lot more comfortable, and just from vision and everything else, to be dead center. And then you got the center of gravity with the truck.
I love that. Do you know what the only road automobile is that is center drive?
No, I don't.
The McLaren F1, the greatest fucking car ever built.
I think they made a Ford GT that was center as well.
Yeah, maybe, but they copied off there. But I don't know if the Ford GT manufactured for the road. I say I don't know. I'll look into that.
That means Colton needs a McLaren F1.
Yeah, sure. If he's got $30 million laying around, brother, you can go buy one all day long, pally.
You buy a monster truck, you can buy one of those.
Dude, hey, I lie. That's it. That is what my monster truck body would be. Since you're center drive, it would be a McLaren F1 body. Boom. That's it right there, bro.
Over in Europe or in Mexico or somewhere that's not in the US, that he has a Lamborghini body on the monster truck.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool, but Lamborghinis aren't center drive. McLaren F1s are. So
exactly, with how short that body is, you could do it.
That's cool, man. Oh,
that's like a friend of mine. They're debuting a truck this weekend. They actually hand built the body. They put a Cybertruck body on a monster truck, and it's called Cyber Attack. And
how much of an oxymoron is that stuff, bro?
Yeah, that
Cybertruck on a
you're taking
methanol engine. I love that.
yeah, you're taking an electric. And you know what's funny is the Cybertrucks, they've got rear steer and everything. They got rear steer. They're on air ride. They're actually neat trucks. They're just uglier than sin. But that's yeah, the really good friend of mine, Jerry Beck, out of Lafayette, Indiana. They've got some of the coolest trucks on the independent circuit. The truck he's known for, man, it's the truck he's had pretty much his whole career. It's called truck. He's got Dirt Crew, obviously the Cybertruck. He's got one that looks like a Roman gladiator called Maximus, and they've got a dozer that it's a custom dozer body, and they just debuted one recently called Blockhead. It's a Lego body, Lego themed body, and that's another crew that's really good to run around with.
That is pretty sick. And all right, a lot. So before we get on this logistics part of it, I want to touch this because you brought it up. I totally wasn't thinking about it, but you said the rear wheel drive, and like I was noticing watching some of your videos, some of the other stuff, man, that like it seems like is your rear wheels, is that your dominant steering wheel or steering axle, let's just say, or you guys four wheel, or how does that work? And why the rear wheels?
So obviously, with how wide these trucks become with the big tires on it, you need that rear. Are you talking about the rear steer?
Yeah.
Yeah. So with how wide these get and how big these trucks are, you need to have the rear steer. But it's not that we use the rear steer more than the fronts. We lead with the rear steer. If you use the rear steer to kind of start kicking the ass end out and then hit your front steering kind of split second after you hit the rear steer, it really helps turn that truck.
Yeah, I was watching your videos, man. Like it almost looks like your front wheels don't move at all. It's like the back end just kind of like pivots around using those back steers. So how long have y'all been doing that, man? Is that like a recent development, or has that always been a thing in monster trucks?
No, rear steer's been around since the beginning of monster trucks. Bigfoot ones had it. I think Bigfoot one was the first one to have it. I could be wrong on that, but it's been on. I mean, rear steer's been a thing that's been on. It's. I don't know how long rear steer's been around, but I know it started on farm equipment and loaders and cranes. Actually, matter of fact, no, I can tell you rear steer's been around a long time because some of the Pettibone cranes that I tear apart that were built in the 50s and 60s have rear steer.
Nice. First time I ever saw rear steer, I don't know the year, but it was in the early 2000s. It was when the GMC Denali pickup truck came out with that. Do you remember that van? You remember that? Yep. When the GMC Denali came out, that rear steer, never thought everyone was like, "Oh, that's so cool." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's about $2,000 is what that is for you to fix once it breaks."
Only money.
Grand for rear.
Yeah, it's only money. Yeah, it's only money.
I mean, ours are. I'll take you guys back. My phone's a little bit more charged now. I'll take you guys back again. I mean, the rear steer. If you put rear steer on a modern vehicle with normal sized tires, like not even like these 46-inch tires, just normal tires, you'd have these little tiny rams. It would be the same. It would be the same setup that you have on your front axle that you'd put on the rear axle with the real tiny little rack and pinion. And then right here is the steering rams we use on the monster truck.
Holy
those are actual hydraulic rams, and those aren't. You can't get those from Tractor Supply. That was produced by a company called Bailey Cylinders, and they quit making those.
Man, that's crazy. I remember you were telling us backstage, like you get a lot of your parts from like, cranes and farm equipment and all of this other stuff, dude. Like everything on your truck, you can't just go to AutoZone and be like, "Yo, let me get an axle for a fucking for a monster truck." You got that?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Like I can trying to think. I can get seals and bearings, and that's about it. That's all I can get is seals and bearings. I can get axle shaft U joints, But anytime I order one, if it's a guy, if I talk to somebody behind the desk that like is kind of a gearhead, I tell them, oh, I need a 1480 U joint. And they're like, you need how big of a U joint? I'm like 1480. And I don't have a spare one in here to show you, but like, oh my God, that's huge. I'm like, well, yeah, most of the ones in monster trucks are even bigger than that. I'm one of the few guys that runs that small of a U joint. And they're like, oh my God, that's freaking massive. And of course, the biggest U joint they've ever dealt with is out of like a Dana 44. That's, this big around.
That's crazy, man. All right, so your phone started to die and stuff, and so we'll go ahead and
now, but yeah, absolutely.
we're going to close things out partially on you talking about the logistics thing, but then we also want to get Van's take on how he got into all this stuff. Van is involved in a lot of things, but we want to know how he got involved with the monster trucks and stuff too at the end of this. But let's get into the logistics of moving a monster truck, man, across the country. You were talking about that, y'all use a moving trailer. What are you guys pulling that thing with?
So obviously, there's a million different semis you can buy. A lot of guys have toter homes. Which if you don't know what a toter home is, I'm sorry for your luck, because they are a luxury. It's a semi with a giant box behind it to sleep in and whatnot. But we've got a 2007 Peterbilt. It's nothing special, nothing fancy. Got a C15 Acert motor in it, 13 speed. Now, nothing crazy. It's down the road. We picked it up from out by Lake of the Ozarks. It's been an awesome rig. And like I said, for the trailer, we're pulling a 48-foot double drop moving trailer that's been completely outfitted for a monster truck tire lift. It's got a swing arm crane that we lift the tires up with and put the truck in and good to go.
So, talking about that double drop, custom, are there, is that something that you and your pops and your family built, man? Like, or is there companies that are making these things for y'all that y'all can go and get, what?
Yeah. So Kentucky Trailers for years has made 48, 51 and 53 foot. And so now they're making 57 footers. But they're mainly 48, 51 foot and 53 foot. They make a standard trailer. They make single drops, which is what you see a lot of Frito-Lay trailers. And then they make the double drops like what I run, and they even make triple drops, which are real low to the ground. They're real low belly draggers. And that's what most monster truck teams have, are the triple drops. But to buy a brand new 53-foot triple drop Kentucky trailer nowadays, you're going to be about $180,000.
Oh, that ain't bad.
And that's not a trailer.
Hey, to quote Van, Colton, it's only money.
Yeah, it's only money. They printed
only money.
It's only money. They've printed it every second for the last 4 years.
My best quote to everybody: "It ain't cheap to be cool."
I know that is your quote, man. That is so true. That is your quote. Oh, and so, hey, man, like, what about when you guys are driving this thing, man? Do y'all have to have an MCDOT? Do you have to run by FMCSA rules, hours of service, all of those things, or what?
We run by Kaiser standards. Put the bit drive and go. No, so
all the trucks say not for hire.
Yeah, exactly. So what we are a not for hire private RV. Our rig is a registered motorhome, a registered RV. And some states are really weird on their laws. Minnesota's one of them. Texas is a weird state. But for the most part, if you're out of state registered, it is what it is. Basically, you got to have a bathroom, you got to have a place to sleep, and you got to have a separate eating area. So Yeah, so for us, we got a double bunk rig. So we've got a portable camp toilet, a microwave, and it's a double bunk. So we got the sleeping area figured out. So it's a registered motorhome, and as a motorhome, you don't need CDL, you don't need to stop at scales, you don't need to worry about logs. And I get a lot of people asking, like, well, how do you get away with that? Well, don't ask how we get away with it. Ask how old 95-year-old grandpa Jenkins in his 45-foot long Prevost bus pulling his wife's minivan gets away with it going down the road.
I literally was thinking the same thing, dude. Like, oh my god, I think the same thing, bro.
Yeah.
So who does the driving, Colton? Like you, your dad, or what?
Dad does. I'm capable of driving it. I don't have a lot of rig experience with a trailer. But I'm not incapable of driving it. We're going to farm in the fall. One of our trucks is a 13 speed. One of them's a Super 10 and one of them's a 13 speed. So, it's easy. You just got that second little switch to worry about, and that's it.
Nice, dude. That's freaking pretty cool, bro. I like that. That's easy. All right, man. So hey, before we close things out, I want to give some love to your pops, man.
Yeah.
And I want you to tell us what his involvement in this is, Colton, and dude, and just show some love to your dad, man. Tell us about your dad, Richie. I know you're still watching. I'm sorry you couldn't be here. I know you're putting together the show and stuff, but dude, fill us in. Tell us where your dad fits in all this
and
stuff,
don't forget mom either.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Gotta put Connie in.
One thing that's really special for me to do this is, this is a true family deal. It's me, it's my mom, and my dad. I drive the truck, I break it, I fix it, I try to figure different things out, what we can do new. I do all my own fabrication work. Dad gets the truck to the show. He helps me, work on it. He orders parts as we need to. He books the shows, which can sometimes bite us in the ass a little bit, because there's been more than once, and there's going to be a few times this year where, for instance, we're going to be in Warsaw, Indiana at some point. We're going to be 2 hours north of home one day, and then the next day we have to be in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. So, but yeah, no, it's really awesome for me to be able to do this with my family. And every now and then we'll take a friend on the road with us who wants to do it and experience it with us, and it's a good time. My dad, he sometimes he works part-time for a local ready-mix concrete company as a loader operator. My mom, she actually retired 2 years ago. She was a dental assistant for 36 years, and now she makes sure now she's in charge of making sure my father and I don't starve to death, and she's in charge of our merchandise. So, if you're at a show and you walk up to our merch tent, whether you're buying High Roller 3 merchandise when we start doing that, or you're buying American Scout merchandise, more than likely you're talking to my mom. That's her whole thing. And, it's awesome. And one thing I'm really appreciative that, I look at this entire industry like my family, and every sponsor I have, I look at, as my family, Van especially. And, through Van, I've gotten to meet some pretty cool guys, so, obviously my wrap sponsor, like every person that helps me out, I do everything I can to help them out. If they're ever stranded, we're one phone call away, and, I don't have an issue driving across the globe to go help these people.
That's good to hear, brother. I love it that you guys are doing a family thing, man. That's super cool. Obviously I had the sense of that's what it was, man. You really got to be together and dedicated as a family to, dump the kind of money that your family's dumped into doing this, and to let an 11-year-old kid, get into doing this stuff. So, and to keep at it for over a decade, man. And I've talked to your dad. Today's the first time I've talked to you, but I've talked to your dad plenty enough for the last few months, and he's just a stellar individual. Richie, you're a really great guy. man, you've given me all the time in the world. So I know you're still watching. I just want to say thank you for putting this together, man, and for giving me and Hunter your time and for allowing us to have your son on the show. And Colton, I'm glad that you see the things that your mom and dad do for you, man. I mean, dude, I literally have a son that is your age. My son is 22, he'll be 23 this year. And I tell you that, and my whole life as a parent is just about my kid, man. Like, what can I do to make my son's life better than mine? Like, how can I make him happy? What can we do? And, so as a parent, I'm telling you, your dad and your mom find so much joy in knowing that you get happiness out of all this. The money, all of the shit that they do and spent for you, man, I promise you, they don't care about that stuff. At the end of the day, the fact that you're enjoying life and that you have a smile on your face and that they were able to allow you to do something you love, I'm telling you, man, as a dad, that's the only fucking thing that matters right there, bro.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, and that's one thing I try to be in life is self-aware. Because I feel like if you're able to be a self-aware human being, then you're able to see the world around you. And that's one thing I always try to look for is, like you said, as a parent, you're always trying to find a way to make, your kid's life easier. And as I've matured and gotten older, I'm kind of trying to find ways to make life easier for all of us.
That's good.
Now the way I'm going about it seems a little bit extreme, wanting to build a new monster truck, but
But you
yeah,
can haul too.
no, I'm extremely blessed to be able to look at what I do and go, holy shit, if 3-year-old me saw what we were doing, he'd probably freak out.
That's awesome. Man. That's awesome.
And that's part of the reason why I do this. I kind of do this for, the kids that, what I'm trying to say is there's always a kid that, you're at school and it's, what do you want to be when you grow up? And there's that one kid that just says something that's completely possible, but kind of out there. And all the other kids are like, yeah, whatever. And, I kind of, part of why I do it is for those kids. And I also do it the same for the parents that are like mine, that we've made a lot of sacrifices to be able to do what we do. And if you would have told me, even when we had the half scale monster truck, if you would have told me even 2 years into us having that truck that it would have became this, I would have probably just been like, okay, yeah, we'll see what happens. And here we are. We've been kicking ass for 11 years, and I plan to do it until either it kills me, the government kills me, or nature takes its course.
That's lovely, and that's awesome to hear. Richie, you and your old lady, man, y'all raised a good boy. You raised a good boy, man, right there. I knew it when I asked your son, what do you want your intro song to be? And this 21-year-old kid said some ZZ Top. I was like, yeah, all right. This kid's been raised right. All right, hey man, let's move on to you, man. Let's end this with you, brother. Anyone who knows you knows that you were involved in so much, Van, and you give so much of your time, your money, your passion, your love to so many different ventures and so many different people. But why monster trucks, man? Why this?
Well, you've seen a guy commenting on while we've been live named Lee Plato, and Lee, you're welcome, Richie. Lee, his son Shane was the youngest professional monster truck driver in history. He's a professional driver at 13 for the big ones. And so I got hooked up with Lee by happenstance. And I said, well, y'all need some cleaning products? And that's how it all started. I mean, it really is that simple. And I was only planning on one monster truck. I got 11 now, but I was only planning on sponsoring one. And Lee, he said, well, you need to meet Colton. And, because he's putting together, Lee had a bigger vision than I did. He wanted to have the Bull Snot monster truck team. And that's what we actually have. We have a Bull Snot monster truck team. All the drivers know each other. All the drivers are like family. And Colton, I tell you, I don't ever add anybody to the team until I talk to the whole team. I said, hey guys, what do you know about this person? Tell me about them. Are they, I want to know all their personality. I want to know their families. I want to know, are they the type person that they would want to call friends? And that's how we manage the monster truck team. Is if Colton says, yeah, I'd like to know him, or yeah, I'm already friends with him or her. We haven't added a girl yet, but there's a couple of girls on Monster Jam that we may do it in the future, as long as Colton don't try to date them.
That's
So-
no one in the industry, and I don't mean to interrupt, but that's one thing I'll say, and I hope there's this is one thing I hope there's young ears listening to this. Don't date your coworkers. Don't never date your coworkers.
No, but so anyways, but that's how the monster truck team got put together. It's just one driver at a time. The Bull Snot monster truck teams, I had all their input. They wanted them to be part of the team, and once they decided that they want them to be part of the team, then I would actually extend the invitation. I get invited or asked to sponsor at least 20 teams a month. And that's everything from tractor pulls team. I had 3 calls today with teams want me to sponsor them. But I just don't add them. I mean, I've got 24 teams total that sponsor, 11 monster trucks. I got truck and tractor pull teams. I got dirt track teams. I got 2 top fuel dragsters. And now I've got aviation. Well, I make 25. Now I've got aviation stunt team as well.
Oh, we need to have them on the show, Van. You need to hook us up.
Give me time. I got to get Colton in one of those planes. Is what I got to get. Because
No, you do not. No, you do not. You do not want. No, you do not. I don't.
I'll ride in the plane. If I'm gonna fly anything, it's gonna be something that I know is gonna come back down at some point and not in a crash.
I was about to say it'll come back down, Colton. Don't you worry about that. Like, it'll come back down.
So, but it's crazy how all these teams get put together, and it happens by happenstance. They know somebody that I know, and very well trust their opinions, and then after I vet them, I'll sponsor them if I think they'll bring value to the brand. Because at the end of the day, for me, everything's all about the brand, and I protect the brand like it's my baby because it is. So if they don't have the right demeanor or the right personality or the right reputation, I'll never add them, because all I can do is hurt the brand. And it's taken me, I don't know if y'all can see it. You see that little bull up there on the wall?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
My daughter drew that when she was a little girl. I drew the Bull Snot logo that you actually have on your shirt. I drew that that day, and she did this. And that tells you exactly when the company was founded. The company was founded September the 7th, 2005. My company's going to be 20 years old September 7th. And if you spend 20 years of your life building a brand, you don't do anything else.
Nope.
That's true, bro. That's true. And Van, you're everyone loves you, man. Like, I think so many people reach out to you, brothers, because you're such a reachable and approachable person, man. And you got a big heart, and people see that stuff, man. They see that, and you're all about supporting everyone, and you love everyone. I have witnessed that firsthand. Hunter has witnessed that firsthand. My wife has witnessed that firsthand. So you're just a damn good guy, man. And I think people just want to be around you and be affiliated with you. But you talk about these teams, man. Van, give us the rundown. What do you got going on this year with all these teams, man? You wanna give yourself some plugs with all of the stuff you got going on with the monster truck?
Well, I just did Monster Jam. Then this weekend, we'll have a driver that's run Mike Mentor. He's in the Hot Wheels series. He'll be representing Bull Snot. Then the season's starting up for Lee Plato, Shane, Tony Canedo, Ryan Frazier, Brandon Galley, Jacob Galley. That's all on the West Coast. So if you see any of those guys, they'll be there. If you go to Monster Jam, you're going to have Triton and Montana Robbins. I'll also be my dragsters. I actually have the only guy who's ever won the $1 Million Challenge. His name is Jeff Rux. He won the $1 Million Challenge, and then the next year he was runner up. I'll be going to the $1 Million Challenge drag race this year. I'm going so much.
Where's that at, Van? Where's that at?
I knew you was going to ask me, and I drew a blank right when you asked me. I think it's right outside of Indianapolis.
To be continued.
To be continued. I don't know which aviation shows I'm going to go to, but I'm going to have to go to some of those. And you're going to be in Are you going to Chattanooga for the All-Star Monster Truck?
I don't think so, but I will be at a few All-Star shows. I know
Press to be there.
And I'll be at I believe we got booked for it again. I'm drawing a blank for it too. It's in Kentucky, Owensboro, Kentucky.
Yep.
There's a show that usually happens at the Owensboro, Kentucky County Fair, and there's one that happens at the local small dirt track. I'm doing the one at the dirt track.
Well, I know I'll see you in Winder and Cummings at Georgia this year.
Yep.
Then I'll be the All-Star Monster Truck Tour. I actually sponsor the whole tour, every event. I can't make every event, but I'm definitely be in Chattanooga and a couple of others this year. Every year I say I'm not going to do as much as I did the year before, and every year I do more. So
just like this year at the Texas Trucking Show, I was like, Van, you gonna be there? Nah, man, I'm not interested. I haven't gone. And then the next text I get, hey Pedro, I'll be there.
Yeah,
that's just typical Van.
Yeah, Nellie Nash called and she says, you got to come. And I said, okay, I'll be there. So I'll definitely be at the Texas Trucking Show. I'll be at the Mid-America Truck Show as well.
Well, I was about to say, what are y'all doing there? Are you doing anything there besides the Bullstein? I know you have a booth, but are you doing any of your auto stuff? You doing trucks or drag races? Last year you did the tractor pulls.
That's if everything goes the way it's supposed to, that'll be the unveiling of my mini Kenworth. The Mayberry Chrome Shop. I've been working on it for 2 years now, but Mayberry Chrome Shop, they want to take my truck, since it's already just about complete, and they want to add a lot of chicken lights and chrome on it, custom design. And so I'll have my 9-foot KW at Matt's.
All right. Well, we're Hunter and I will keep in contact with you. You know, we're going to be at Matt's. We're doing a booth with our sponsor Freight Ninja. So we'll get with you, Van, because Hunter and I are trying to do a bunch of cool stuff. We're trying to hook up and do something with Tony, because we know Tony's headlining this year. Brandon Carpenter, who has the trailer bar. Hunter and I are trying to do something with him.
Okay. Oh, hear me? Sorry.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, my bad, man. My box just died. So sorry, my audio sounds like crap now. But we'll follow up with you, man. Like, we would love to hang out with you again this year. You know, we got to hang out with you last year, and Hunter and I got to go to the concert last year and stuff. And we only missed the tractor pull because we thought it was at one time and it was at another time. So yeah, Hunter, remind me, we got to get with Vance so we can be a part of that. We would love to hang out with you at Matt's again.
I might be able to get you backstage a little bit on the NTPA pool, because I'm a corporate sponsor of NTPA.
Okay,
I'll hold you to that one.
I know. And how messed up is it? He says that, and I remember the concert. Hunter and I at Matt's last year to the concert. Like, we set up way in the nosebleed section, and like, we're sitting there literally looking at you sitting in the front row, and Hunter was like, dude, I bet you Van could have got us seats down there. And I was like, nah, man, like, it's packed. And then we talked to you after, and you're like, you should have just let me know. I would have brought you into that area. I was like, damn it.
I mean, that's part of being the Bull Stock, guys. I get special access to a lot of stuff because I do so much. But NTPA being a corporate sponsor, I'll have to do interviews while I'm there for their shows and all that good junk. But I love tractor pulls. I mean, I'm probably, Tony calls me a redneck chemist, and that's probably 100% true.
Oh, redneck chemist, man, 1,000%.
Now, man, I'd like to recall a memory. So, this is kind of a funny story. In 2023, Van, that's when you started sponsoring us. we didn't meet Van until September, and he started sponsoring us earlier in that year. And him and my dad were sitting there and talking, and Van, you pulled out your can of chew, and I think the way my dad explains it is that you looked at him and goes, "You're probably the only chemist that you know that chews Copenhagen." And my dad looked at you and goes, "Van, you're the only chemist I know."
Yeah, because chemists, you don't see many chemists hanging out at truck shows, truck and tractor pulls, monster truck events, drag
No.
races. You know,
Only the cool ones, Van. Only the cool ones. Now, with the truck and tractor pulls, if we can pull it off this year, I don't know if we'll be able to pull it off this year, but with now that I've got a good built transmission, I had my transmission sponsor, Superior Transmission out of Winchester, Indiana. They built me a real good new Turbo 400. If we can do it where I can get the truck to a NTPA event or any pull event, but preferably an NTPA, I would like to do a weightless sled pull.
I might be able to make that happen. I have
Yeah,
to call.
because
I'll call NTPA. How close do you need it to your house?
it don't really matter. If they give us a schedule, if they can give us a schedule of dates, we can look and see if we're going to be near one on a weekend or if we're going to be, I know they do one down southern Indiana at
There's a bunch of
Lanesville.
them. Yeah, the only one I can't do would be Bowling Green.
I know that's a big one.
That's the
but no,
granddaddy of
so
them all.
that the Bigfoot driver, Josh Baumgartner, who I'm going to be running with, he did as Bigfoot with the Bigfoot body on his new truck. He did a weightless sled pull, and that was the first time Bigfoot has done a sled pull in, I think, 35 years. And at that point in time, I'll probably be running as high roller. And I think that'd be, whether it's high roller or American Scout, I think it'd be really cool to do sled pull. That's something I want to do once in my career.
Give me a few days to make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Everyone likes it when a monster truck pulls a sled, and if I can get it, if I can get it done right, the gentleman we bought my monster truck from, he has a tank. We could do a tank sled pull. That's some old school cool. Not many people know they used to hook tanks to sleds, and not military tanks, monster truck tanks.
That's still cool, but it would be much cooler if it was like an M1A1 Abrams.
Yeah, I was thinking it was like some freaking Panzers or something.
Well, the gentleman,
we got to make that happen. That's what we need to do. A true tank pull. That shit would be cool.
So my good friend Alan Pizzo, who I mentioned earlier, he built a tank back in the day. He took an armored personnel carrier from like the 60s and 70s, about Vietnam era, and he cut 1.5 feet out of the center of it, made the entire underbody out of aluminum, the undercarriage out of aluminum, and it's got a blown big block alcohol injected Chevy motor in it, and with a Turbo 400 in it. And if you put the right gearing and motor in it, it will run triple digits. So imagine getting in a skid steer with tracks and going 100 miles an hour.
Could you fucking imagine the U.S. Special Forces running into a spec operation? And
look up, where is it? Look, so go back up to your search bar and look up NITE crawler. It's called Nightcrawler. Bingo, right there.
Oh yeah,
that one right there. Okay, so fun fact, everybody, that tank is for sale. I'll plug that tank. Andy Hoffman has that tank for sale, and it's one bad sucker. It hurts the land, but it's cool.
Oh yeah, that is absolutely disgusting right there.
Yeah,
Pedro, we should buy one of these.
We should
a lounge tank. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
it makes so much sense.
It does. It just makes sense. You're right. It makes complete sense.
I know exactly where that tank's sitting. If you fire it up right now and you get it warmed up and you go run it, you won't have to worry about mosquitoes for 5 years. It ain't got no rings in it.
I love that, dude. Yes, 100. We do that is the mission. We definitely
We're
fuck
getting a tank.
the lounge tank. That is exactly what we
I don't know what we'll use it for,
Yeah,
but we'll have a tank.
I'll tell you my personal plan with it. If I was able to come up with the money to buy it, my personal plan was to buy it with no motor, have the transmission gone through, put a stock big block in it, take the body off of it, put lights and mirrors on it. I was going to go drive it to Waffle House. That was going to be my dedicated Waffle House.
Yes.
I like that.
I love
Hey,
that.
be a short drive for me. Come out to Waffle
Yeah,
House.
exactly. Yeah, I'd just
Right.
park at Van's house and I'd go take it to Waffle House.
Oh, I love that. That's yes. We definitely need a tank. We have to have tank footage somehow, some way on this show. All right, hey, we're creeped up on 2 hours here. Amazing for our first show back 2025. This has been absolutely phenomenal. This is not the last time. We are going to have Colton back on the show. Van comes on just all the time. You guys know him. You love him. You'll see plenty more of him. But before we end this, we want to give y'all a chance to do give some final love to yourself. So, Bull Snot Guy, any exiting comments, questions, concerns, updates, or plugs?
Well, everybody's always wanting to know, how do you get Bull Snot? There's a couple of ways. The easiest way, go to your app store, put in the word Bull Snot, download the Bull Snot app. You can buy merch. You can see where I'm going to be. It has all my events on it. That app is like, it's like a computer. I mean, it's got everything on it. You can see all the new products there. For everybody watching this show, so you got to be watching. Everybody watching this show, at checkout, you use the coupon code BULL20, 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 takes 20% off your order and free shipping. Can't beat it. It's a heck of a deal for you.
So,
If you don't,
I only have one thing I want to add there. Before or right after you download the Bull Snot app, and before you make your purchase, what you need to do is you need to go to the logisticsloungeshow.com/homies, where we have a link to Van's app and also a code. So if you go to our page and you click that link and you get that and you click that code, you will get the discount that Van has just said. And we get nothing for that, but you will drive some traffic to our page and you will also show our wonderful friend Van some love. So sorry to cut you off, Van, but there you go. Roll it across the bottom of the screen. Make sure y'all go to that and click on Van's icon. It's a big Bull Snot icon. You cannot miss it.
that's just my way. That's just my way of saying thank you for a wonderful year to all my customers. And is give you a discount code that's going to save you some money, get you started out right. And if you ever have questions, you can contact me. You can even contact me through the app. My phone number's everywhere. Google Bull Snot, you'll find me.
You have to be lucky enough. You have to be lucky enough to meet Van in person. You get
one of those. Yep.
Yeah, that's what it is. You got to go find Van at all of your logistical trucking events. Damn, Taylor Barker's got me saying that, Hunter Logistical. I don't even know if that's a
That
word.
reminds me, dude. I'm making that T-shirt tonight.
I don't even know if that's a word. Taylor Barker Logistical.
Logistical lounge.
Logistical lounge.
That's Taylor.
Taylor is a nut job, man. He's something else. Colton, what about you, my friend? Comments, questions, concerns, updates? Want to give some plugs to yourself?
Yeah, so well, firstly, a big concern. I might need a lobotomy after this year, but that's no. So I got to think. Firstly, I want to thank the people that actually make this possible, and being in monster trucks, one of the very fortunate blessings that we have is that most of the time, our sponsors in this industry are product sponsors, and money sponsors are awesome. But for us, the product sponsors we have are worth their weight in gold, not in cash, because cash is worthless right now because of the last 4 years. They're worth their weight in gold. So Van, you have been beyond a blessing to us. And I'm so glad that life has led has left us to get into contact with you and everything that you've done, all the spectacular, crazy, awesome stuff that you've done. I know you and I were working on some cool stuff. I got to give a big thank you to my wrap sponsor, Luke DeLue, with MI Wraps out of Michigan. My welding sponsor, Blue Demon Welding Products. They've been around since the 70s. They're awesome. With the high roller deal, March for anybody that's unfortunately near, I say unfortunately very lightly, I'd love for you to come near Fort Wayne, Indiana, March 8th and 9th at the Allen County War Memorial Coliseum is where we will be debuting High Roller 3, which is the 40th anniversary for High Roller Monster Truck. That's got an awesome story. You guys can check that out on Facebook at High Roller Monster Truck. You can check us out at American Scout Monster Truck. We're going to be all over the place. We're going to be all over the place. We're going to be everywhere but home. We're going to be going back down to Georgia and hanging out with Van. We're going to be at the 4-wheel jamborees this year. That's going to be awesome. We're going to be running around all over the place. We were just in Kansas. We're in Missouri this weekend, in Lebanon. And yeah, it's going to be an awesome year. Our whole thing is trying to keep old school around, doing old school cool stuff. And, you know, one of the great blessings of working on my own truck and building my own parts is I'll go run the crap out of it. And if it breaks, I'll try and figure it out to make it stronger, you know? So I'm always out here trying to put a show on. It doesn't matter if there's 10 people or 100,000 people, they're going to get a show. So if you're ever in the area and if you guys want to know if I'm going to be at the show local to you, most of the time, if you look up monster trucks near me or monster truck show, whatever town, it'll take you to the promoter webpage and it'll show you the lineup of trucks that are going to be there. If you see us out and about with High Roller or American Scout, whatever we're running, come say hi. And if you want a good testimony, if you've seen bull snot all over the place and you want a good testimony for it, you know, I'll give you a can of glass cleaner. You go use it yourself, you know. But yeah, we're here to have a good time, and it's with people like Van and a lot of the other people that help me out, my family. That, you know, that's what we're here to do. You know, we're here to have fun, and you know, we'll run with the big dogs.
Cool, man. Hey, I'm gonna get with you, Colton, and see how close you guys are coming to me down here in Texas, or maybe you guys are going to be close in the vicinity of an event that Hunter and I are going to this year. I would love to see you live in action, man. And actually get to meet you and your pops.
How close are you guys to Ada, Oklahoma? That's probably pretty
off the top of my head. I'm gonna say 4.5, 5 hours. Maybe I have to do that. I have to look it up. I know where Ada is, but yeah, I'll look it up.
That's a lot close. That's a lot closer than I am. You guys ought to come out.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. I agree, dude. I definitely want to hang out with you guys in person. And I just want to say something about Van's glass cleaner from a person that uses it in his 4-wheelers. If you were going to use it inside of your vehicle, say you want to spray your windshield, I advise you sit in your back seat and spray it. The velocity on that shit is unreal.
No, not the rocket spray. If you use the rocket spray, you used the wrong one. The rocket spray shoots 15 feet.
Yeah, no, that's what I use because that's what Steven gave me, man. That's what Steven gave me.
He was messing with you.
I'm serious, bro. I love it. Bandit does a great job, and I'll never forget the first time I sprayed it inside my wife's Mazda CX-5, and it was like, I was like, holy crap.
Oh yeah, the rocket.
I've had friends of mine use it in their house by accident. I gave a friend of mine a can of rocket spray, and I said, "Hey, be careful. This has got a wasp nozzle on it. It shoots 12, 15 feet." I guess he forgot about it because he point blanked a mirror in his house. Yeah. He cleaned his whole bathroom in one squirt.
I know, that's right, bro. That stuff is about the business right there, man. That nozzle is nothing but business.
And just remember, that won the Innovation of the Year for 2024 for the Aerosol Technical Association.
Dude,
Because
I,
it's
I,
against falls.
I like it, Van. I'm almost out. I'm gonna have to go to your site, and I think this time I'll order. I don't know if you still do it. I haven't been to your site in a while, but you used to have a bundle where it was, I don't know, $100 or whatever it was, and you could pick a plethora of your freaking products. So yeah, that's what I need to do, because I'm running low on all of my car detail stuff, and I am a serious car detail guy. So that's something I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna go and order your package, so I just get everything from my car that I need.
Yep. The glass cleaner, the interior cleaner, and the odor eliminator. And if, like I said, if you're getting real desperate, the Freeable works really good post puke inside of the car.
I'm gonna test the odor eliminator, because I tell you, the car I bought, whoever had it before me, and the person I bought it from told me that it was someone obviously smoked in it. Dude, I have done, I don't know how many freaking odor bombs, dude, everything. We have shampooed the interior, everything, and it gets rid of it for a little bit. But once, dude, it always comes back, and I'm not a smoker, so it drives me up the fucking wall, man.
Well, let me give you some advice, okay? You're not getting where the odor is. That's your problem. That's the reason I sell the only odor eliminator that actually has a tube on the side. The odor is in your vents. So what you do is you cut the AC off, put that little tube in the can, squirt it into each one of your vents, and then turn your car on, put the AC on recirculate, or the heater on recirculate in this case, and let it recirculate through there, and it'll completely get rid of the odor and it'll be completely gone.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that, man. I'm gonna go and get a brand new cabin filter, and I'm gonna spray my cabin filter, and I'm gonna do that, because I like, we've done everything, dude. Cabin filter, all that stuff, and it is driving me bonkers. I cannot stand the smell of cigarettes. Even when I was a smoker, I hated the smell of stale cigarettes. So, but all right, hey, we're going to end this right now. Van, Colton, stick with us for a minute here after we end this, so we can chit chat backstage real quick. We appreciate everyone that tuned in, man. First show back at the beginning of 2025. Think it was amazing. We perfectly planned this. Was just phenomenal to have Colton and Van on. Both of you, thank you so very much for giving us your time. And before we end this, we want to also give some love to our lovely sponsors. Truck parking. Hey, it's a major issue. Everyone's complaining about it. It's a big thing. Yeah, you may not like paying for it, but if you are going to pay for it, you're going to want to give your money to a business that is doing truck parking done differently. Freight Ninja. And we are welcoming back the homie of homies, Mr. Del Prax. He has been with us so long. He's been a fan, been a viewer, all those things since day one. If you don't know who Freight Validate is, I don't know where you've been in this industry. Fraud, theft, freight theft, it is a huge thing. You need to validate. You need to verify your carriers. Nobody is doing that better than Freight Validate. All righty, Spidey, okie dokie, artichokey. We'll catch you later, alligator. After a while, crocodile.
Oh, you are on camera.
I know, bro. I'm telling you, I'm hyped. It's fucking Colton's fault, dude. When he said ZZ Top, I've been jamming ZZ Top. I don't know. I think I went to the gym at like 2:00 this afternoon, but I was jamming ZZ Top for like 2 hours freaking straight, bro. I am so hyped up. And here I've been drinking this caffeinated ass tea like nobody's business. I'm telling you, my wife is going to have her hands full once we get off this show. That's all I'm going to say. Mr. Hound, do you have any comments, questions, concerns, or updates?
Nah, man, Colton, it's good to see you again. Wish old Richie was here, but tell him I said what's up. Hopefully, we'll see you at Large Cars Guitars again this year.
Hopefully. That was a fun deal. I almost died on Van's mini chopper at least twice.
I was just sipping on that moonshine, man. We'll get it done. But yeah, Van, hopefully you bring that truck to Matt's, the little mini Kenworth. That'd be cool.
It's on the schedule.
Let's go. But yeah, good to see you, fellas. Definitely catch up this year, and thanks for lounging.
Absolutely.
Well, have a good one.
We will.
Anytime you guys want me back on it, if I'm on the road or whatever, by all means, hit me up.
We're going to Colton, man, hang with us for a few minutes. We're going to end this right now. I just want to give you guys some thanks and chop it up for a minute. Hey, everyone, again, thanks for joining us on this first show. Friday, we are bringing back one of the OG guests on our show, our good friends, Laurent and Elise Batiste. They are carriers. They have switched gears, and they are now more in the advocacy space and have connected themselves with a lovely company that may be a benefit to a lot of you carriers, owner operators out there. So make sure that you tune in Friday, 4 p.m.-ish Central. We'll catch all of y'all then. As I always say, chunk the deuces. Mr. Hound, roll that beautiful bean footage.
The views and opinions expressed on this show by its guests are not necessarily those of Lounge Media Group or the show host. So if you sue someone, make sure it's the party responsible for hurting your feelings. Also, grow up, be an adult, and understand not everyone thinks like you. And that's okay.